What? Hi, everyone.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Good afternoon.
Surprise.
So you've just seen pretty much the extent of my video production skill set. And all at once there, I was able to actually put 2 videos together. Isn't that incredible? So how are you guys? Thank you for joining me today. Obviously, you know, this is a topic that I've been pretty passionate about. I've been running around yelling at people and, you know, browbeating people and talking people into going who aren't going, and convincing people who are on the fence for canceling their booth or canceling their flights to stay. And, you know, to me personally, like, you know, I have a lot of time invested in this show, I guess, a lot of money in the different companies that I've been a part of. But, you know, for me personally, this show, and especially this one, 2021, is so important because, you know, this is the coming back show. Like, you know, as far as I can see, looking around at everything that's going on in the industry, you know, we're basically mostly back. You know, there's a lot of shows out there. There's tours on the road. There's things going on, sporting events, live events like crazy. And, you know, so I think that this is just another step. Getting together for this show is another step. And, you know, one of the stories I've shared a whole bunch. So I've been going to LDI. I think the very first show was Nashville. Do you know this, Marian?
It was, I believe, was it Reno? It was 88. I was not there.
So I don't think I went to the very first one, but I've been going to everyone since.
She would be able to tell us.
I think it was Nashville, then it was Dallas, if I remember correctly. And I was at Dallas, but I don't think I was at Nashville.
It was kind of before there was a regular rotation.
Right, exactly. And so, you know, exactly 30 years ago this year, and I've shared this story this week in a bunch of different posts and stuff, but exactly 30 years ago this year, I was invited to LDI by Martin and Trackerman, the Martin distributor here in the US at that time. And, you know, I kind of knew what they wanted and what we were going to talk about. So I took the trip and went, and everyone's telling us Dallas. Second was Nashville. So I think I was at the first one. There's DJ. Hey, David. So, you know, I went to that show in 1991 in Reno. This is the one where there was, I think, the big snowstorms and stuff, and the planes were flying in like this over the, you know, it was complete insanity landing in Reno, and got the job with Martin and Trackerman at that time. And pretty much for me, that created my career and gave me a career in this wacky industry. I had no experience other than I had done a bunch of club sales, lighting sales for nightclubs and stuff. And so, you know, for me, it's just so important to go to this show every single year. But I think this year is even more important. And I'm personally involved in bringing a lot more people to this show with my own company and the companies I'm involved in than ever before. I mean, I'm going to have a whole bunch of people there. We've got a bunch of dinners and meetings and stuff booked already. And so yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody else has any history or you know, I know most of you are young. I think all of you are younger than me. You are. Damn it. God damn it.
Yeah. You have better hair, or you have different hair. I don't know if it's better.
I am the senior.
I would like to say thanks, Marcel, for I kind of want to be careful about saying evangelizing, because, you know, LDI isn't a religion or a cult, or a charity. You know, it's a business, and you know, I know some people are really passionate. My team is very passionate about putting on the show and having the show come back, and what you said is exactly right. You know, events are happening, right? And sometimes I think people forget that everybody loves that, to use that phrase, which I think is really, really important in the last couple of years. And from the organization, you know, we make events. And sometimes I have to remind people, we make events too. You know, we're a trade show, but we are in the same industry. And we've had, as I'm sure you can guess and you've heard, so I'm not going to not address the elephant in the room. People have asked us, how can you have a show? Why are you having a show? If people are pulling out, you know, we're having a show. There's no question. Unless for some reason the state or government shuts down, right? Knocking wood, which is not going to happen. Events are happening everywhere. And just from a company perspective, you know, our larger parent company has produced more than 30 events since March to great success. Now, when I say great success, do they look a little bit different? Do they feel different? Of course. And that's what you expect. But I mean great success by saying there are people there who are serious about being there. And I think that's important. And there are people there who are ready to buy. And, you know, every show, every event is always going to have some tire kickers, as we affectionately refer to them. But I think the quality of attendee is going to be there. And we are not canceling our show. Oh, I should address that too, because Thursday someone called us and said, oh, you guys are canceling. We're hearing it all over. So we know in this industry too, the rumor mill is pretty active. So I do want to set the record straight that we're not canceling the show that's happening in 4 weeks. So
no, I mean, everything you just said, of course, I understand you guys are going through all kinds of challenges. I've spoken to some people on your staff. I've spoken to people, I guess you'd call it, on the other side of the fence, who are either deciding to or not to continue with the show. You know, there's a couple of people who did back out of the show who I had been talking with and trying to convince to stay in. And, you know, as I've said to Ben and I've said to so many people, for companies out there who are exhibiting and spending, you know, $500,000, $1 million, and hopefully they've cut their budgets a little bit this year, but they are, it's a really easy move to go walking into the CFO's office or into a board meeting and to say, yeah, you know what, we're going to cancel LDI and keep the money in the bank instead this year. Most of those people in the board meeting, and God forbid the CFO, don't have the foresight to realize that that's going to have an impact possibly on your revenue for the rest of time, but certainly maybe the next couple of years, where, you know, people meet another brand, or they see a different product, or they form another relationship with someone else because you weren't there. And I know that sounds a little doomsday-ish, but it's true. And, you know, lastly, and then I'll shut up again, I want to address the one thing that you said, you know, live events are happening. We're an event, you're an event. And so two things on that. Number one is, you know, there's a line, and I heard this on someone's podcast, they said it, but there's a line between sort of the live events that you want to go to, concerts, sporting events, movie theaters, whatever it is, all of those different things that you do as a fun pastime. And then there's these things that you're expected to go to, or your employer is sending you to, whether it's a business trip or it's a trade show. And those are the ones that are struggling a little bit. So, you know, they've lagged behind. The conferences, the trade shows have lagged behind the concerts and the nightclubs and the all of the other things, the sporting events. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention is that, you know, I keep hearing from manufacturers, and I'm shocked, you know, 30 years into doing LDI shows, or 28 years or whatever myself as an exhibitor, that I'm defending LDI and the costs, because people are so quick to say, I can't believe they're trying to charge me full price for this show. And the thing is, you know, your costs, I'm sure, are probably higher than they would be in a normal year. And you've got half as many exhibitors, or 70%, or I don't know what your exact number is. And so you got to stretch a dollar a lot thinner. And I mean, you know, most of the rental companies I know out there aren't discounting their rates by 50%. So, and manufacturers haven't cut their prices by 50%. Why does LDI, you know, this is your business. This is how, you know, Marian eats.
Well,
so,
all right, well, let's not make it too personal.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, and you know what, there's no feeling on my part that it has to be, you know, guilty versus, you know, not guilty kind of thing. And I think that the point is that it doesn't take a mathematician to understand, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here, what revenues for a major event like this that did not happen in 20 looked like.
Right.
And so, and that is in no way to say, well, we have to do the event because we have to do the event. But also, like, you can't, there's no reason to keep kicking the can down the road when by all forecasts, and I mean, you know, world global forecast, not the weather, there's no reason, there are no impediments to us having the event and flooring the event in Vegas. You know, things are, and like I said, just happen to be part of a larger event and data and media company. They've already kind of paved the road for my team to see what can be done. So that's really encouraging. It's not like we're the first ones out the gate, you know, and let's face it, in our industry, we are kind of the first ones out the gate. So it's a little bit more, I think, scary for some people. And I understand the questions, and I understand that people maybe are not so quick to make the investment or feel like they're rushing, you know, to the gate to come to the show. But I really believe, you know, with our team too, you know, kind of working around the clock to make this the best show possible, that what I'm hearing from all events is you will not be sorry you're there. Do you know what I mean? So like I said earlier, maybe it won't look the same, maybe it won't feel the same, but I think the quality and of those events that you, maybe the ones you have to go to because of work, I think we all agree that we work in this industry for a reason. And it's because we actually also want to be with the people and see the people and network. So I think we have a little bit of a step up in our industry that keeps us around for so long. And speaking of so long, I hope you're going to ask everybody about their historic LDI experience.
Well, yeah. What was your first one, Marian?
My first LDI was 1996 in Orlando. I happened to be working with Patrick Dearson for Group 1 Limited. We work for Jack.
And by working with, you mean married to, right?
No. Yeah. I was not at the time.
Just kidding.
Flash forward. And that was Orlando. And we worked for the then distributor of Clay Packy. And I don't think, I think Clay Packy was like our really big booth that first year. And it was great. It was my first LDI, and it was when we were still doing the big blacked out theater. And I had actually was doing marketing and PR. I had tickets printed that you know, for the show every 30 minutes that I had done, you know, Minuteman press down the block or something. It was and I got to meet all the press at the time at places like Lighting Dimensions. And I don't even think PLSN was there yet. Maybe I think PLSN came out a year or two later.
Yeah, I don't think they were out yet.
So that was my first experience, like with the Peabody, the old Peabody Hotel that was there, and great fun. I had, and this is no dig on the AES show or people from the sound side, but we had been to the AES show about a month before. And I remember some of the folks I went to the AES show with, which is, you know, recording and sound engineers. It's a different show, let's say. And my colleagues all said, if you think that was fun, wait till you go to LDI next month. So just obviously a little bit of a different vibe, and but great fun, both of them.
Yeah. I mean, Patrick, what about you? Because you were with Clay Packy and their distributor, you know, almost around the same time. I think I was with Trackerman at Martin.
Yeah, I think just about all of us here had a very similar timeline in growing up within the industry at that level. But my first one was 1993 in Reno. It was a spirited event getting into it, as the snowstorms that year were quite hectic, and my flight we ran out of fuel actually, because we were in a holding pattern over Reno, and we ended up hightailing it on vapor, landing lopsided into San Jose airport, and sat there for 6 hours or so till they refueled. So yeah, it was an interesting first year at LDI. That's for sure. I'm going to preface all of this by saying I only have a few minutes, because at the bottom of the hour I have to run out the door. More than reminiscing about first LDIs, I'd like to go back to this one because it is so important. And there's a few things that I'm not sure I can be the ugly American to touch on it, politically speaking. Some of the things that aren't as widely known was that in 2019, the whole group putting on LDI had gone to great lengths to do a lot of negotiations on behalf of the industry with the convention center, with all the moving pieces there, to really help reduce and spread out costs for booths, so that going into 2020, those costs would be a hell of a lot more manageable, a bit more affordable for people exhibiting. And I think that sort of got swept to the wayside a bit in just how much effort that team put in to doing that. So, going into this in 2021, it's a very different scenario, but there was a lot of headway made. They paved the way to really help reduce his costs as much as possible. So I think that vendors going in this year were already set up for a significant amount of success. Now, that is not to make any assumption as to any business's ability. Right now, that's one of the more difficult things, and it's one of the harsher judgments, I think, that are being made on various areas of the industry, various companies. Not everybody had the same experience through this pandemic. And I speak for that firsthand, coming out of the pandemic quite successfully and not having a bit of survivor's guilt with that. But after spending so much time kicking, screaming, clawing to keep a company afloat and to help others do the same. And in helping others, we saw firsthand how a lot of people simply couldn't do it.
That's a great point.
So you're seeing, you can make judgments all day long about these big names of manufacturing in the industry, and you're speaking out of turn by saying they got enough money. They're just being cheap. That's not right. It's not kind, and it's just not appropriate. Some manufacturers have made a choice to, I think, significantly over leverage themselves to be able to maintain the image and showing up and doing, as you say, Marcel, trying to take advantage of the opportunity, even though the chips are down against them. Other companies are calling no joy. And I spoke to one manufacturer, it's a very prevalent manufacturer, that called me to bounce the ideas back around a little bit, from the business side. And they said, listen, we kind of have a choice. We can either do this show, or we can pull the booth, keep our guys employed longer because we're still struggling, and we can at least show up and be there to network with people around the show. And
well, that's obviously that's an easy decision at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep people employed, but
you want to
I mean,
on a giant booth, or do you want to bring your team? Be able to maintain those people and that talent who are the core that's going to help you.
I think there's also people who are just using this as coverage to just pull out of the show and keep the money in their bank, and that's okay too. I mean, it's a personal decision, or a per company decision. If I'm the CEO of my company, I can do whatever the hell I want to do, right? And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not shaming anyone for not going. It's a very easily justifiable decision. Ben and I are good friends.
I don't think there's shame in it, by the way, but I do think that I think there's a bit of shame in saying, well, I'm not even going to show up. I think that I think Ben and Marcel, I think you were both at Plaza, right?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, you didn't? Yes, I was there.
So there's some reason why I wasn't. I don't remember.
I think that a lot of the feedback out of Plaza was the sort of concept of you have to look at it a little differently. This wasn't necessarily about seeing the latest and greatest toy. This was about reconnecting and re-networking and networking farther with new people that you normally would not have gotten a chance to do.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see the same thing. And this is what you want to, as a business owner, any business owner, you're going to want to capitalize on that opportunity going into LDI. It isn't about finding that brand new spanking toy that's the whiz bang new thing. This is about reforging those relationships and really setting yourself up to start the rebuild that this industry is doing, because no matter what, everybody's rebuilding.
There's going to be a lot less noise too. So I mean, for that small to mid-sized company, you know, like as an example, I remember when I used to go to NAMM as a buyer, because I had a small guitar store in Canada, music store in Canada, and we were tiny. And, you know, you'd go to Fender or Gibson or whatever, and you couldn't even get in the booth, let alone to speak to some of their salespeople about becoming a dealer for Gibson or Fender or whoever, right? And so then I started noticing that if I went to the Nashville show, the summer show, you could actually, you know, get in there. Or if you went to, you know, just different smaller shows, like in Canada, they had one called MIAC, which is like Canada's version of NAMM. I forget what it stands for, Music Industry Association Canada. You know, and it was easier to get in and talk to those people at the smaller shows. I think this is going to be, for the small to mid-sized company, this is going to be an amazing networking opportunity where they wouldn't have access to some of the designers or the, you know, top sales management or executives in some of these companies that they will have this year. And I know that sounds sort of like a pathetic reason for going, but it's really not. It's actually a great business opportunity for the small to mid-sized company to connect with people that they may or may not have the chance. But I want to hear from Ben, because I've been talking to Ben through this whole thing. And, you know, Ben was one of the few guys, not to you know, pump up your newly shiny head, which we all agree looks perfectly amazing.
Really good. Really good.
But, you know, Ben was one of these guys who really, it was always like, no, we're going. You know, and granted, he's not choosing, I don't think, between paying people's wages and going to a trade show. But I do know that, like the rest of us, Ben's company has taken, you know, a few bumps on the head over the past 18 months. And it's still tough to go and spend $500,000 on trade show booths. But, you know, Ben always told me it's not really a decision.
Right. Yeah. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate the hair side, the hair side of the screen. I've never seen anyone keep Patrick and I quiet for 15 minutes. So first of all, congratulations on keeping us quiet for the first 15 minutes of the podcast, or whatever this is called. I will briefly mention my first LDI experience was in 1989 in Nashville, when my college roommates and I drove one of their 1976 BMW 2002 from SUNY Purchase down to Nashville to be Ellen's first interns for what I think, I doubt it was called LDI Institute at that time.
I'm so glad you brought that up. I was going to ping you before and ask if it was okay to talk about this.
Yeah. And the car broke down on the way home, and we had to, it was the middle of the night, and we had to help John Presley Towing clean roof tiles off the interstate before he would take our and you know, we dropped us at some local Holiday Inn, and my college roommate, his name's Christian Methot, his parents for as long as they were alive sent Mr. Presley a Christmas card every year as a thank you for rescuing their poor brainless son and friends from the side of the interstate in Tennessee.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
And isn't it the most incredible testimonial to the LDI internship program?
Yes. Yeah, no, I have no complaints. Worked out great for me. So there was that. So congratulations on keeping Patrick quiet. That was my first LDI. And, you know, listen, as we were getting ready to talk about this, I thought about two things. I tried to really think about, why are we at LDI? Why should people exhibit at LDI? Why should they attend LDI, right? Because listen, this isn't just a commercial for LDI, as has been said numerous times. It's a commercial enterprise, and all of us who attend, whether you are an exhibitor in a company or you're a person. And Patrick, I know you have a company, but you know, if you're someone like Patrick, why do you go to LDI? Right? It's an investment of time. It's an investment of money. You know, Marian, she really has two, and probably more that I'm not aware of, but two groups to keep happy, people like me and people like Patrick. And, you know, the reason that we go there is to meet the people that we have the privilege of serving, right? So we have products. We want people to use our products to do cool shit. And the best place for us to meet as many of those people as possible, historically, and we believe this year and into the future, has been LDI. It's probably, you know, it's a major event. Yes, there's other trade shows for specific groups, NAB, House of Worship, things like that. But this is the one place. Bob Gordon always used to, you know, we ACT historically hasn't exhibited at a lot of those smaller shows because Bob always felt that anyone who really is in the lighting business or the entertainment technology business, you're coming to LDI, right? And those other shows, they don't have a focus on technology the way LDI does. And, you know, that's, you know, it's best shown by the people that we work with, some of the supplier partners that we represent. MA Lighting is, you know, there's 17 employees from MA Lighting coming to LDI this year. And they range from the programmers at the factory to the regional salespeople, and the total contingent of people coming from the MA Lighting outside of the United States is about 40, because there's 17 people, the people who write the software and develop the consoles. And then there's another 20 something people who are international distributors from other places. And they're treating this LDI as the chance to really get together and celebrate the fact that the industry is coming back. And for us, it's absolutely critical to bring the developers and the designers. Ayrton is sending, you know, their team of people who actually designs the lighting fixtures, because LDI is one of the most important places where they meet people like Patrick who actually use the lights. And so when Ayrton is making their R&D decisions, one of the inputs that they take is the feedback that they get at LDI. So that's really important. And then, you know, if you think about it from someone like Patrick's point of view, a designer or a programmer, someone who works for a lighting company or a rental shop, you know, there's two things you're going to find at the show. You're going to find tools that help you do your job better. So, you know, it's been, well, we've all been locked in our houses for 19 months. Okay, maybe not 19 months. We started doing shows again, but we've all been locked in our houses for a very long time. It's been 2 years since we've had this trade show. That's a lot of time for R&D. There are cool new things that are going to be shown, at the show this year. And I think people are going to want to see them. It's tools that are going to help you do your job better. And on top of that, there's people you're going to meet who you don't know. And it's people who you're going to network with and get a chance to forward your career. And, you know, I think Marcel, you said a little earlier, the opportunity to do that maybe in a smaller environment, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. Right? You know, you might get a chance.
Stand by one sec, because I know we're going to lose Patrick here soon. So Patrick, from you know, put your designer hat on for a second. This year, as opposed to other years for LDI, why is it important for, you know, whether you're a young up and coming designer or a top designer? I'm sure it's a different importance or a different answer, but why is it important to be at this show in 2021?
It isn't a different answer. It's the same, whether you know, today's your first day in the business or you've been in it, you know, like me for, you know, whatever, 25, 30 years. My first LDI was 93. From 94 to 98, I was always paid to be there. After that, I've missed one LDI since, not counting last year. And it was simply because it was luck of the draw. There was nothing special about it. It just happened to fit into the schedule, whether I was able to pop in at least for a day to check things out and fly right back out to a production. The one I missed, we had a set of opening nights and rehearsals where I couldn't be there. Every time I went very specifically for the networking, because I'm not there to show stuff. I'm not a manufacturer. I'm there to use the stuff. You know, and I always was lucky enough to be one of the cool kids that usually got to use all the brand new gear that was coming out and being shown that year a couple of months before it actually hit the LDI floor. Yep. So it was never really about going to see the hot new cool thing. It was about networking as much as possible with just about every level of the industry, other designers, other programmers, production managers, tour managers, all the manufacturer reps, so that you're building that relationship so that for the coming year, when I got out of production and had a problem, or I had a team that was having a problem, I was able to know exactly who to call to get a quick answer to solve that, so we can move on with our very precious time as a clock was ticking before an opening night or whatever the event may be. So it was about the networking, and then my favorite part of LDI, which is the perimeter booths. All of those tiny little 10 by 10 pipe and drape booths with a shitty white sign over them because they're a brand new upstart company. And every single year from 1993, I walked away from LDI having found at least one new widget that was critical for something that year. It was a really great opportunity.
That's another. Yeah, it's another great point, but I used to do the exact same thing at NAMM when I was, you know, buying for a guitar store, and we would find some new weird distortion pedal along one of the walls, and we would become like one of the Canadian importers for it or something.
There are always those diamonds in the rough. So there's a lot, no matter what level you are. Showing up to that show has always done something in a real positive light, which is great. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. I have to run to a meeting.
See you, buddy.
Thank you
for joining us.
See you.
We'll see you at LDI.
Have a good one.
So I see what you did there.
You see that? This is why I am a marketing person.
That's why you have a real microphone in front of you.
Yeah. So, you know, Ben, you made some really, really great points, and, you know, some things that I didn't really even think about that much, but still, as a CEO of a fairly large company, you know, responsible for fairly large marketing budgets and sales budgets, you know, there's still, little guy on each shoulder, one telling you to go and one telling you not to go. And so, you know, ultimately, how hard is that decision in 2021?
2021, I think it's a no-brainer. You have to go. Right. I mean, you haven't had the opportunity to do this. Sure, our salespeople are out there traveling. We're visiting customers every day. And by the way, customer visits and road shows are a great way to meet the people you already know. How do you find new customers? Right. Yeah. You go to trade shows. Right. So to me in 2021, and quite frankly, I was saying to someone earlier, my attitude about LDI is actually better this year than it's been in a long time, because it did for, you know, after a while, it's just like, wow, we're spending a lot of money here. Is this really worth it? And you know, every year I go to our sales team and our marketing team and I say, you know, guys, you know, here's the number. Is this really the best way to spend this money? And, you know, every single year we always come down that the answer is yes. Because again, where are you going to bring together the manufacturers and the inventors and the people who make the magic things in this industry and the people that buy them and use them, right? We do that by going to trade shows. And, you know, as I said before, you know, we find LDI to be the most important trade show for the entertainment technology industry. And, you know, part of that is that it's been, you know, what did we decide? 1988 was the first one. So, you know, part of that is it's been there for, who's good at math? 43 years. It's been 33 years. It's been there for a long time.
Yes.
Whatever that is in math.
30. Minus one last year.
All right. You know, it's been there for a long time. It's a well-run show. And, you know, it's fun and we enjoy it. And so, you know, again, this year, I think it was a much easier decision than it had been in years past. And obviously, yes, COVID presented challenges for all of us. And, different people had a different experience, and we're incredibly fortunate and thankful to, the employees that support us, and the customers who buy things from us, and the supplier partners who give us products. And we're very lucky and, incredibly grateful, and have a lot of love for everyone we had the privilege of working with. And, doing something like going to LDI is, that's the fun part. That's the result of all that hard work that we did.
Absolutely.
I think also that, I know I'm going to go out of character here and disagree with Patrick Dearson about just a small point. But, and I hear what he's saying is it's, what are people going to be putting out in terms of new gear? And maybe it's not the year that you see all the new fangly stuff. But I quite disagree. What we're hearing coming out of what people are planning to present, to the point that Ben made, it's been a long time. And that maybe InfoComm is happening actually in just a few days, right?
Next week.
Which has some overlap with us, obviously. And we were a little bit like, wow, they're going to have their show right the month before us. But, it's a good thing they did, because who knows if they would have been successful in June. But, InfoComm maybe not being the exact focus market that we are, even though some people will also go there, as we know. This is kind of like 2 years in the making, right? For people to have developed stuff. So I'm hearing quite encouraging things about new technology that's coming out from companies such as Ben's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think developers and engineers stopped creating things, so there's obviously going to be some really great new products. Some companies have launched, Ben's included, some companies have launched products throughout COVID that this might be the first time people see it. Even Martin came out with their big new fixture, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. This is the first time that a lot of people will see that, a lot of the Ayrton fixtures, a lot of other fixtures. So yeah, I mean, I think from a standpoint of new technology, there's still going to be some, but I do know of a lot of companies who, instead of having a big booth full of lights, they're going to have a little bar and hand out sandwiches and drinks, which, I may or may not do if I was going there as an exhibitor. There's going to be a lot of circle bars, I would expect, and or different variations or adaptations of circle bars.
There's going to be at least one very big circle bar that we're building.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
So what's that about? Tell me about the circle bar. This is the most interesting thing I've heard all day.
I knew we'd get there eventually. Well, I'm pretty sure someone on the comments can probably bear me out on this, that this is the brainchild of our show director, Jesse Cybalski. And it was, of course, thinking that a lot of people have pinged us and said, oh, this is, going back a year. Where are we going to go without a circle bar? Of course, the being so relatable that, circle bar, LDI circle bar, where are you going to go? Circle bar. Let's we all know that's where a lot of people end up at the end of their dinners, et cetera, or other obligations. But it's become so synonymous with LDI that I'm not sure if people maybe think that we, had something to do with the circle bar, which of course we didn't. But we thought, especially, they renovated that one year. Maybe it was the last 1 or 2 years. They kind of renovated it, and it just became brown or something. And it was okay, but it was a little bit different. So it was already kind of felt like
took out the Verilights.
It was sort of oddly renovated. And then of course it's been the hotel Hard Rock has been taken over by Virgin. So Jesse thought, let's just build a friggin' circle bar on the show floor. And that really came out of what are we going to do with the feedback that people are saying about they can't wait to network again. Now, we always know that the top two reasons people go to a trade show, and Patrick just said it, networking and gear, that's the only reasons to go, really. So if those are the two things, and we know we got the gear, and we want to keep people on the show floor, obviously, to, help our exhibitors get more time with them. For better or worse in our industry, one not bad way is to build a social experience.
So that's open during the hours of the show every day?
Yeah, it'll be open. In fact, Ben's company is one of the sponsors of it.
Cool.
Thank
you,
so the
booze is free from the circle bar?
No, the booze is not free, but it will be free during
Friday night. Friday night.
Party.
Friday
Yeah, there's
night.
a networking party. So we're having a networking party, which is, as you guys know from back in the day, it was, you know, whose party to go to on which night, right? So the one night would be the so-and-so's party. One night would be the so-and-so's party. So like a big LDI party was not something we've done on a regular basis. We did one for our 30th anniversary. We did one way back in the day when that one restaurant was closing down. We kind of took the whole back lot and we had big staging back there. It was probably in 15 or 16, the Firefly, I think it was called. Big party back there. And then we thought, God, we have to have a party this year. And, you know, if anybody goes to all the European trade shows, of course, the show floor kind of like just stays hopping until all hours. You know, you go to those white light parties where they just have like a city of food and beverages, and you can kind of like pop around and see gear until 9 o'clock at night.
Yep.
You know, being in a convention center until 9 o'clock at night is really weird. And then you go, I definitely have to leave now. So we're not going to quite be that intense about it, but yeah, we'll have a party on the show floor. Thanks to Ben and team are supporting that. And
that's cool.
And I think it's going to just be a good experience for people to have a place to go, because, you know, most people are just like running around the trade show floor. Now you can go and sit and have a meeting. Now you can go and sit and have a cocktail or a soft
I also would like to say right now that we shouldn't judge people for day drinking.
And I think, or, you know, if you want to have a coffee instead too, you can do that, or a soft drink. It's no judgment.
You can't go to the Circle
way.
Bar and have a coffee or a soft drink.
It's not judgment.
This is sacrilegious. Yes, this is a terrible thing.
It's not
in 2021, you can.
Okay, anything goes, huh?
That's right.
I'm just going to stand at the Circle Bar all day so I don't have to wear a mask.
Well, you have to kind of.
Well, I'll be pretending I'm drinking all the time, right?
But I think it's going to be, you know, that's one of the, and shout out to Jessie, because I did see her comment that she was really at the forefront of creating that
that's
experience. Cool. And so, you know, keeping people on the show floor, keeping that connectivity. And I think that, you know, this year, that's our most important thing is having people feel like that community.
Yeah. So now we all have to stop talking so we can read this very long comment.
Jessie, I do. So anybody I don't know if everybody watching can see this. So that's Jessie Cybulski, our show director. Amazing,
yes, they can see it.
Talented person who's been with the show for years now. And let's see.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot that you're expecting from a Circle Bar. We used to just go there to get drunk and have a good time and laugh at Patrick.
Ben did say it's 2021. You have to be a little bit more open-minded. Yeah, that's weird. So, you know, we have our Pat Mackay Diversity Scholarship. A lot of the scholarship winners are coming to the show. 11 a.m. Bloody Mary.
There you go.
Movie,
choices. It's all about choices.
All choices, yes.
One of the things I was thinking about this morning was, you know, just funny moments. And I don't know, like aside from the one where the car broke down that you told us already, Ben, I don't know if you guys have a really funny, and I have no idea why this is the first one that popped into my head, but it had to be like 1996 or something, 5, 6, 7. And I was at the awards, and I think we were expecting at Martin to get an award for something, probably most outrageously spent booth or something. But I was standing with Peter Johansson, and Wiseman was standing right in front of us, and Wiseman turns around and he goes, "Oh, hey, little buddy, you can't see back there. You want me to put you up on my shoulders?" to Johansson. And I was rolling on the floor, dying laughing at this one. It was hilarious.
That's a good one.
I have no idea why that pops into my head. There's a few funny Peter Johansson moments that I could tell you about. You know, another one was at the party that we did on the beach, which I don't know if either one of you were of drinking age yet at that point, but
I did. Yeah, go ahead.
We did this big party on the beach, and we had Casey and the Sunshine Band. There was like 5,000 people out there or something. And so I had a bar tab going. We handed out, I don't know, thousands of drink tickets, but I also had a bar tab going inside at the bar. And so it's like 2:00 in the morning, and our event planner comes up to me and says, "Marcel, you know, you got to take care of the bar tab." And I look at it and I'm like, "Oh shit." So I'm standing with John Broderick, and I go to Peter Johansson and I go, "Hey, Peter, look, that's Metallica's lighting designer, John Broderick, right there. I need to buy him a drink. Give me your credit card. And he goes, oh, okay. So he hands me his credit card and I hand it to the event planner. And it was like $22,000 or something. So she brings it back to him to sign it. And he goes, holy shit, what were you drinking?
Just blame John Broderick. Poor John. It's like, I did not drink all that.
Yeah, exactly. It was hilarious. So
that is pretty good.
So typical. Oh, someone was there, Stephen Way. Yeah. I may remember seeing you, Stephen. I don't recall. I don't know. I was not myself that evening. So anything else, you guys? I mean, it's I'm actually really looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm sort of bringing a whole bunch of people, and you know.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too.
I think it's going to be fun.
We're looking forward to it too. I think it's going to be great. I think those who do attend are going to have positive memories. Someone said the other day, this is going to be the one everybody talks about. So great.
Yeah.
And Hannah, who's our content manager of the Live Design Online content site, is posting some of the new gear that's being introduced. So to bolster our point earlier that there will be lots of new gear at LDI. Thanks for sharing that, Hannah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that link isn't going to be clickable or anything on your screen right now. So good luck on that one. Actually, I think I can copy it and I'll figure it out.
Stick it in the comments. Oh, it should be in the comments already.
Yeah. I was going to say something incredibly important and now I forget what it was. No, I mean, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's important to go. You know, for companies who are on the fence, if you're not, you know, so far, like if you're deciding between payroll and a trade show, you shouldn't be going to a trade show. You know, I mean, marketing budgets were the first thing that most of us cut last year when COVID got real bad, unfortunately, Marian. And so I understand that, but if that's not the case, I can't imagine reasons why you wouldn't be at this show. It's going to be a great show.
Thanks for all your support. We'll certainly.
By the way, I do want to add one thing, which I remembered now. You guys lightened your COVID protocol, right? Or at least gave options.
Yeah, we added testing option. Yeah.
Testing option, right.
Yeah, we added testing option.
So I don't know that everybody knew that, but there is a testing option now. So if you do not have the vaccination, don't want to get the vaccination, you can get a test. What is it? 2 days before, a day before?
72 hours. And we have it's not an app. I have to keep remembering that it's not an app. You can upload it in advance. So we have a veritable army of people who are checking all that stuff out. So thanks for mentioning that. Yeah.
Well, and also the other problem that some people had mentioned to me was that, you know, none of our international clients or friends or designers or whatever can get there. And now that's been lifted. So yeah, I know a bunch of Europeans who are coming in for the show. So yeah, I mean, again,
it's a big relief. It's a big relief that, you know, timing is everything too. So that was a big holdout for us, is concerned about the international, especially, you know, Ben mentioning all the people he's bringing internationally. So
yeah.
No, don't think we weren't nervous, because we were.
Yeah, we were white knuckling that one too. Not gonna lie.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys. And
thanks so much,
I appreciate you doing this. And I appreciate that your company is continuing on with the show. And I appreciate, Ben, that your company is exhibiting there, and all the other companies who are or are not exhibiting for whatever reason. I get it. But you know, it's amazing that we're still having a show. So I'm pretty excited. So I'll see you all.
So are we. All right.
See you at the Circle Bar.
At the Circle Bar. See you at LDI.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Look forward to seeing you.
Bye-bye.